What if I told you there's a sea with no shores? A sea so calm it baffles sailors, yet so mysterious it has inspired legends, literature, and science fiction. It's not enclosed by land, but by currents. And it overlaps with the infamous Bermuda Triangle. A vast, floating wilderness where time seems to stand still. No crashing waves on sandy beaches. No cliffs. No ports. Just open blue, bound by invisible walls of current. Welcome to the Sargasso Sea, an oceanic enigma that has captivated sailors, scientists, and storytellers for centuries. Nestled in the heart of the North Atlantic Ocean, this is the only sea on Earth not bordered by land. And today, we're diving deep into its mysteries, myths, and importance. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more geography and geopolitics content every week. What and where is the Sargasso Sea? The Sargasso Sea is unlike any other body of water on Earth. Located entirely within the Atlantic Ocean, it is defined not by coastlines but by the four major ocean currents that encircle it: the Gulf Stream to the west, the North Atlantic Current to the north, the Canary Current to the east, and the North Equatorial Current to the south. Together, these form the clockwise rotating North Atlantic Gyre. Within this gyre lies a calm, slowly rotating pool of deep blue water. It's so stable, in fact, that seaweed floats in giant patches across the surface, and debris from both sides of the Atlantic eventually collects here. Unlike the violent churning of other ocean zones, the Sargasso Sea is known for its stillness, an almost eerie tranquility that's baffled and mesmerized explorers for generations. Why no shores? All seas usually take their name from nearby land masses or territories. Think of the Arabian Sea, the South China Sea, the Mediterranean. But the Sargasso? It stands alone, literally. Its borders are determined entirely by ocean currents, not physical land. The currents act like invisible walls, trapping warm, nutrient-poor water inside. These boundaries are always shifting slightly, giving the sea a dynamic yet contained identity. Its unique geography makes it a true oddity, which has implications for both ecology and oceanography. Seaweed, stillness, and plastic. The sea takes its name from the floating sargassum seaweed that thrives there. These golden brown algae form massive mats that drift freely, providing a floating habitat for hundreds of marine species, from tiny crabs and shrimp to young eels and sea turtles. The water here is famously clear and calm, visibility can exceed 60 meters. But the very same currents that trap seaweed also trap garbage. The Sargasso Sea has become a kind of Atlantic garbage patch, where plastics and waste from across the ocean accumulate. This has turned the sea into an accidental laboratory for studying ocean pollution and microplastics. Researchers flock to this zone to understand how marine debris moves and breaks down. Legends, ghost ships, and the Bermuda Triangle. Parts of the Sargasso Sea overlap with the Bermuda Triangle, a region infamous for unexplained ship and plane disappearances. Historically, sailors feared getting stuck here in the days of wind-powered ships. The calm conditions could leave vessels stranded for weeks, especially when tangled in thick mats of seaweed. Some accounts even tell of ghost ships drifting endlessly in its calm waters. While most of these tales are exaggerated, they reflect the disorientation and isolation sailors often felt when trapped in this massive blue void. Literature has also immortalized the sea. Jean Rhys's novel Wide Sargasso Sea, a prequel to Jane Eyre, used the sea as a metaphor for isolation and madness, a place between civilizations and identities. In the story, the protagonist is brought across the Atlantic through this mysterious expanse, symbolic of her doomed fate. The eel mystery. Few mysteries of the natural world are as bizarre as the life cycle of the eel. Both the American and European eel species are born in the Sargasso Sea. These tiny larvae drift thousands of miles to freshwaters in Europe or North America, where they mature. Then, without ever having visited the sea before, they return across the Atlantic to spawn and die in the Sargasso, guided by instincts we still don't fully understand. Despite centuries of observation, no one has actually witnessed adult eels spawning in the wild here. We know it happens. Scientists have found larvae in the Sargasso, but the full reproductive behavior of the species remains one of zoology's last unsolved puzzles. Why the world should care? The Sargasso Sea may seem like a floating anomaly, but it plays a critical role in the Atlantic ecosystem. It's a nursery for countless marine species, a migration hub, and a carbon sink. Its stable environment supports endangered animals like the loggerhead sea turtle and the American eel. Climate change and pollution, however, threaten this fragile system. Altering ocean currents, rising temperatures, and plastic accumulation all risk collapsing this one-of-a-kind sea. Some scientists argue that protecting the Sargasso Sea is as important as preserving the Amazon rainforest or the Great Barrier Reef. Protecting the Sargasso is not just about saving seaweed. It's about saving ourselves. The Sargasso is a political battleground, though it has no shores. The Sargasso Sea is bordered by powerful nations: the US, the EU, the UK, and Caribbean island states. Unlike coastal seas, no single country owns it. This makes it both a shared treasure and a contested space. In 2014, an agreement called the Sargasso Sea Declaration was signed by several countries and NGOs to promote conservation in the region. But without clear legal ownership, enforcement remains tricky. It's a microcosm of the larger battle over international waters, a struggle between conservation, economic interest, and geopolitics. The Sargasso sits at the heart of global maritime debates. Satellite surveillance and future research. Thanks to satellite imaging and autonomous underwater vehicles, scientists are now learning more about this elusive sea. They're mapping its biodiversity, tracking plastic movement, and even modeling how climate change could shift the gyre. Exciting discoveries keep coming. New species, rare breeding grounds, and insights into how oceans self-regulate are all being uncovered. Yet the more we learn, the more questions arise. Is the Sargasso a stable long-term feature of the Atlantic, or will warming currents dissolve its boundaries over time? Could we use its natural circulation as a model for passive carbon capture? These are the big questions oceanographers are now grappling with. The Sargasso Sea is the only sea in the world without a single shoreline, but it's no less vital to the life of our planet. It's a haven for marine life, a theater of legend and mystery, and a living symbol of how interconnected our oceans truly are. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the strange world of the Sargasso Sea, help us spread the word by hitting like, subscribing, and sharing this video with your fellow ocean lovers. Want more fascinating geography and global mystery content? Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep exploring the unseen corners of our planet.